Hey everyone, and welcome to another tutorial. Today I will show you how to create a background animation for your own animations. As an example for the animation, I used the stickman animation from my last two tutorials. So this is also the third and last part of my tutorial series, and if you haven't watched the last two videos yet, click on the info box on the top right corner or click on the link in the description. We are also about to reach the 50,000 subscribers, so thank you very much for all your support on this channel. And if you want to join this community, you can subscribe to this channel of course, and maybe we will hit the 50,000 subscribers this month. The first thing we need is a color for our background. I use the bucket to completely fill the background. I have also separated the ground and the sky with a black line. With the bucket you only have to click once on the screen and then the background is filled with color. After that I double click on the lasso to select the background. Then I copy it and paste it into the other frames. When the stick figure jumps up, I move the background down. You can move the background by using the lasso again. As soon as the stick figure is in the air, we only need a blue background for the sky, as the ground is no longer visible. The next thing I want to show you is how you can move the background along with the stick figure. In this scene, the stick figure is crouching down. Because it is moving down, we now have to move the background up, so that it looks like the camera is moving along with the stick figure. This also means that if the stick figure moves up, we have to move the background down. To move the background, we use the lasso again. As soon as you move the background upwards, a small area will be uncovered and you will see a white space. You can use the bucket or a pencil to fill the empty space with color. What we should also pay attention to is that the more the stick figure moves down, the more we have to move the background up as well. The last thing we have to do now is to move the stick figure upwards. Otherwise, only the background would move and it would look as if the stick figure no longer stands in the same position. Every time there is a fast movement or when the stick figure flies, I use strokes and smear effects to show the speed. The color of the lines should match the background. That's why I use a white and a dark blue color to draw the background effects. You should vary between small and large lines. The stick figure stops in this frame. That's why I only draw a few smaller strokes under the figure to have a smooth transition from the fast movement to the slow movement. In the next scene, the stickman flies through the air the whole time. That's why we need a lot more wind/smear effects in the background here. That's why I draw 4 different background effects in 4 frames, which I then copy and paste into the other frames one after the other. So it's like a loop. As soon as we have drawn the 4 different background effects in all 4 frames, we start by copying the effect in the first frame. Then we always count off 4 frames, so 1, 2, 3 and 4, and paste it there. Then we come to the second frame, copy the smear effect and paste it into every 4th frame again. We then do this with the other 2 until all frames are filled with a background effect and we have a loop. And this is what the animation looks like at the moment. Last but not least, I want to show you how the stick figure can interact with the background by adding some obstacles, for example. I draw large rocks that the stick figure has to fly past. I start by drawing the outline and use a dark brown color. The outline is a bit wavy so that it looks more like a rock. By drawing a few shapes and lines, I add a few details that better represent the stony nature of the rock. As you can see, the rock takes up almost the entire background because it is so close to the camera. After you are done with the details, you can use the bucket, search for a lighter brown and add it to the rock. Now we can use the lasso to mark and copy the rock. Then we go to the previous frame and paste it there. We also move it slightly out of the picture as the stick figure moves toward the rock and the rock comes more into the picture from frame to frame. Now we go to the following frames. Here we also add the rock but move it to the other side of the picture. We want the rock to move fast because the stick figure flies past the rock quickly. That's why we have to move the rocks far apart in the frames. If they were close together, they would only move slowly out of the picture. Now that we have moved the rock to the left, the spot has become empty, which we have to fill with the bucket. Then I draw a few smear effects on this area with the dark brown as the rock moves quickly. Then I copy the rock again, move it to the left, fill the empty area with color and add a few strokes again. In the next frame, I add the color of the rock to the whole background and draw some smear effects again, because the outline of the rock has moved out of the picture now. And then I'll do the same again in the next frame. The stick figure has now passed the rock almost completely. That's why I'm going to draw the end of the rock in the next frame and do it in a similar way as the beginning of the rock. After we have finished drawing the end of the rock, we copy it, paste it into the next frames and move it slightly out of the picture. After the stick figure has passed the first stone, it flies past another rock on the other side. Because the stick figure is behind the second rock this time, you should draw the rock in a layer which is above the layer with the stick figure. As this rock is now further away from the camera, we can draw it smaller and in its entirety. When you have finished drawing the rock, copy it and paste it into the other frames, then move it from right to left from frame to frame. And that's it for today's tutorial. I hope you were able to learn something new about animation. See you again in the next video. Have a nice day and bye bye.